The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. It's Tone the Bone here from the studios of Tony Kurre Radio. Make sure you download our TKR app through Apple and, of course, through Android, Tony Kurre Radio. Listen to some great classic rock and roll 24 hours a day. Great shows that we record every single week. We do not take any days off around here, so every week you have brand new shows. Super excited last night to watch the Bills and my Bengals. You know, I'm from Cincinnati, my stomping grounds. I had a ton of people that were at that football game last night, so I'm sitting over here with my boy, and I'm getting all excited about kickoff, and the Bengals go down and score. It was all great. And then, of course, by now you know what happened with Damar Hamlin. It's really bizarre, and I was sitting there talking to my kid about this. You know, when you start watching something and something traumatic happens, good or bad, you start getting in this little black hole of thinking where you actually believe that everyone in the world is watching the same thing you are. And you get so engaged with it. We do it with our politics. We do it with weather a lot. When everyone's watching, you know, we're going to have tornadoes later this afternoon. We have a Torcon 3 or whatever that is. But you start getting, and you start watching wall-to-wall coverage, and you're doing it. Next thing you know, you've been watching something for 2 or 3 hours, and I found myself watching ESPN last night doing just that, and I'm starting to think to myself, okay, this is what the entire world is seeing and watching right now, and because it was something we had never seen before. And so you start looking at other TV channels and no one's talking about it, and you're like, wait a minute, am I getting in my own world? But in this particular case, it really was that important because we had never seen anything like that. And again, if you've been living in a cave, you're under a rock. Damar Hamlin last night made a play on T. Higgins for the Cincinnati Bengals, took a shot to the chest, got up, went down. Next thing you know, they're trying to revive him on the football field, giving him CPR. And I've never seen that many football players just incredibly distraught and horrified by what they were seeing on the football field. Of course, us as spectators, we didn't get a chance to really see that. And I was happy to see that ESPN was respectful enough not to fly a drone over top him or whatever. I had heard several things from friends of mine. I have a lot of friends of mine that work at 700 WOW, which is the flagship station for the Cincinnati Bengals last night, saying that they had heard that he had passed. Thank goodness that was not true. And it appears that Hamlin's going to be okay, but he's still not out of the woods yet, so our thoughts and prayers go out to him. A couple things kind of struck me, though. First of all, I started getting just a little irritated by how many times people said this is bigger than football. We know this is about life and death. And I understand, you know, you really see what broadcasters, journalists, TV personalities are made of when they've got time to fill and there's no script. And it certainly was unscripted last night. I think a lot of people did great work last night. It's just incredibly uncomfortable. You're going to hear the words thoughts and prayers over and over and over again. And of course, over and over and over again, you're going to hear about, you know, football's not important at this point. We heard a lot about that after 9/11, and I certainly understood it then. I understand it now. Yeah, it's about a man's life. You don't need to keep saying that it's not about the football game. We don't know when they're going to play the game, and that's inconsequential. Well, no shit. We get that. We understand that. You know, it's really strange, though, because that is the same football field that Tua Tagovailoa, of course, went through his concussion where he had the mangled fingers in his face, and that was something that was it's been a really weird football year. The Tua hit and his concussion and the fingers in the face was just incredibly unpleasant, really difficult to watch. Then you're talking about our good friend Mike Leach, who passes away while he's still coaching football, and then we've got this play last night that looked so mundane and turned out to be almost a life killer for Hamlin. And it's just been a really bizarre year in college and professional football. It really was. The last time I felt like that watching a game, and again, I covered sports for 20 years, and I'm no more closer to it than anyone else watching this morning. But the last time I felt like that, do you remember? Was 2001. When Dale went into the wall in the Daytona 500. And I'll never forget how I felt. I was like, did we just see a guy die racing a car? And I thought to myself last night, because when they're trying to administer CPR and life-saving techniques on a guy on a football field for 7, 8, 9 minutes, and you've got guys sobbing, I mean, just sobbing on the sidelines, you're like, okay, something's wrong. This is not right. Something is really messed up. And I can remember feeling that same way when Dale Sr. Crashed in the Daytona 500 and lost his life. And I'm thinking to myself, we didn't just see a 24-year-old football player die on the football field, did we? I mean, it's almost too hard to fathom. It really is. With that being said, it's amazing how many thoughts and prayers have come out of the woodwork. I know that Damar had this incredible little community GoFundMe thing where he was trying to raise $2,500, and he started back in 2020. It is currently at $2.7 million. Isn't that incredible? He was trying to raise $2,500 back in 2020 December for a GoFundMe situation for a community toy drive, and it is over $2 million. And this is where, man, life is cyclical. What goes around comes around. Karma, blessings, you can call it whatever you want. Buffalo Bills fans have been the most outspoken, outpouring fan base in the history of sports when it comes to taking care of other teams' charities. If you want to Google Buffalo Bills charities or what their fan base gives to other charities, it's incredible. They take care of their own. I like to pride myself down in Alabama, because down in Alabama, man, we give to a fault, right? I mean, we give a lot of money down here for worthy causes, and that's one of the reasons I love living in Birmingham and I love living in the great state of Alabama. Southern hospitality at its best. We take care of each other big time, big time. We may have some issues, but we take care of each other big time. We will not leave you hanging. Buffalo Bills fans and their fan base has given so much money to so many other organizations that are run by other football teams and by other players. It's incredible for now us to step up and help one of their own by raising over $2.7 million for a GoFundMe page for a toy drive that was set up a couple of years ago is just incredible. And I applaud our efforts, and I think it's just fantastic. I got on there this morning. I just wanted to see what the number was. It's amazing, because we all want to be part of something bigger, and we all want to help this guy. And the only connection we have is making a donation, certainly to his charity. So, Good for us, good for him. And man, our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to him and his family. It was great that his mother was there. I have a friend of mine that works for the Cincinnati Bengals network up there. It was at UC Medical Center up there, which is really close to where I used to live. And he said the fact that players, fans, Bengals and Buffalo Bills fans showing up at the hospital, leaving flowers and everything else. It was something I hope we never see again. Something that we've never seen before, but it was a life-changing moment for a lot of us to be watching that last night. And you got to think to yourself, man, to suspend a football game is pretty incredible. We saw history last night. Buddy Little, good morning to you. Tommy Williams, good morning, man. Check out Workplay and workplay.com for everything happening at Workplay in 2023. Fantastic place. We're also working on Coosa Valley Auto Sale. I just talked to Al Cooper this morning. They're one of our great sponsors. The last time I went up there to see him, he usually opens the door around 9:30, 10 o'clock. I get up there around 6:30 with a cup of coffee. I'm like, let's get going, bro. So we're going to be stopping up there sometime this week. Set my schedule up. We'll do that. Make sure you download the TKR app and get after it on all of our great shows in the Tony Curry Radio Podcast Network. We have now over 1,000 shows up on our podcast network, and they're blowing the doors off. We're up over like 300% over the last couple months. It has taken off. Everything from Blues Almighty with Austin Hanks, The Damon Johnson Show, Mission Vital with Michael Coleman, Students of the Game with Alex and Nathan and Gray. They do fantastic work. Did a great show with Kip Kiefer called Need to Know, Want to Bet. If you want to make a little extra cash just in time for the NFL playoffs, you can check that show out up on us. We have Live Wire Wednesday. It's our most listened to show from an international footprint. That's going to be airing tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central Time, brought to you by Southern Precision Staffing, 205-682-2828. When in Rome with Stuart Rome, another great show that I love to co-host. It's a fantastic show. We talk about the Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, but we also play music during it, which is fantastic. I absolutely love that show. Dark Side of the Pooch with Dr. Rab Stewart from the Rossbridge Animal Hospital. I can go on and on and on. If you get the TKR app, tune in. 168 days, 168 hours a week or 168 days in a row. You'll be hearing some great classic rock and roll, great shows, and greatly appreciate all of our great clients and certainly everyone who listens to all of our shows here. Get after, don't forget Thursday morning, Dr. Josh Claypo back in the studio here at the Tony Kurre Radio Studios. Brand new, as you can see, we got nothing on the walls yet, but I'm still working on some things, been a little busy. So we'll get that going on Thursday morning. We'll also be on Fox 6 at 9:35 coming up on Thursday as well. And thanks again to Mike and Janice and the entire crew at Fox 6 for their wonderful continued partnership in 2023. Have yourself a fantastic day, a blessed day. Our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to Damar. We hope everything's going to be okay with him. Every moment he's alive, he's getting stronger and healthier, and that's a good thing. And we'll keep you updated here on Tony Kurre Radio. I love you.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.